Even with my experience, I will never use a LiPo battery in any of my kits. Welcome back to Fast Freddy RC, and today I want to talk about a subject that I don't think is talked about enough. Batteries. All over social media, I see hundreds of questions around batteries that go something like this. I just bought an RC car. What battery do I need? I want the fastest car I can, so which battery will make my car go faster? I plan on using a LiPo battery. What's the best charger? What's the difference between a nickel metal hydride and a LiPo battery? My RTR, ready to run, comes with a LiPo battery. What's a LiPo battery? I'm looking at buying an RC car for my kid. Which is the best kit to get? I'm only used to using NiCad batteries when I was a kid. My new kit comes with a LiPo battery. Is there anything I should know about it? Well, yes, there is something you should know about it. But I think we need to take a step back for a second. We all know this. Every single electric RC car needs a battery to run it. But without the proper understanding of the different batteries you can buy, you can be putting your cars at risk of damage, or even worse, yourself or your family at risk of injury and/or death. And I'm not joking here either. People have lost all they have due to a bad battery experience, and it's because of this that I think this video is necessary. Now, before I get started, I will say that this video is geared towards the beginner and novice RC user, as most hobbyists that have been into RC for years have full knowledge of the dangers of LiPo batteries, which require a great deal of care in order for you to use them properly. And that's really the point of this video. Most beginners and novice users don't realize that the battery choice you make for your kit comes with certain responsibilities, and if you ignore those responsibilities, the consequences can be dire. Now, that being said, I'm not a beginner or novice user. I've been into RC cars since I was a kid when I got my first RC car, a Tyco Turbo Hopper, which used 9-volt and AA batteries. Now, it wasn't long after that I discovered the world of Tamiya, and as they say, the rest is history. Now I share my over 40-year passion of building and running Tamiya RC kits with all of you on this channel. But I will tell you this. Even with my experience, I will never use a LiPo battery in any of my kits, and you'll understand why by the end of this video. So let me preface what's to come by saying this. There is an inherent responsibility that each of us must have towards the batteries that we use in our RC kits. And it's our responsibility to know the different types available and the pros and cons of each, so that whatever kit we buy or whatever battery type we choose, we know exactly why we bought it and fully accept the responsibilities of choosing such a kit or battery. And if you are a parent to a son or daughter that wants to get into this hobby, or have a son or daughter that went out and already bought a kit that comes with the battery, you as the parent need to know what having an RC car battery in the house means for you and your family's safety. So in this video, I will go over the 3 most common types of batteries for hobby-grade RC cars: NiCad, nickel metal hydride, and LiPo, and go over the pros and cons of each. As of today's date, there are actually only 2 major battery choices for hobby-grade RC cars: nickel metal hydride and LiPo. But I'm going to first take you back to the golden age of RC, the 1980s, and quickly talk about NiCad batteries, as I think it's important to understand the evolution of battery technology so you can see just why LiPo batteries exist for RC use today. I'm also going to talk about these batteries in layman's terms, so if you're a beginner or novice hobbyist, you'll be able to quickly visualize the difference between the 3 and know immediately what you're getting into. So, let's get started. It was 1987, and I had just bought my first hobby-grade RC, a Tamiya Blackfoot. The battery that was suggested for the kit was a Tamiya 7.2 volt hump pack NiCad or nickel cadmium battery, which fit perfectly into the ORV chassis battery compartment. Added to this a leisure NiCad charger, and for the most part a standard 7.2 volt pack would last about 10 to 15 minutes and would take about 15-20 minutes to charge. But there was some maintenance you had to do with these types of batteries. NiCad batteries had memory issues, so in order to charge them, you needed to decharge them fully before recharging if you wanted your batteries to last. Based on a pit tip that was submitted by a reader of this very radio-controlled car action magazine, my dad made me this for decharging the battery pack. Back in those days, if a battery was low, there wasn't a voltage cutoff like there is today, so your car would drive off or run around in circles without you being able to control the car, and you just have to catch it and disconnect the battery. But the battery was never really fully dead, so I'd use this tool to make sure the battery was completely flat before charging the battery again. If the bulb was totally dead, then I knew I could charge the battery. Rinse and repeat. I have some really great memories using this tool, and that 7.2 volt hump pack battery lasted me a very long time because I always made sure to decharge the battery before charging it again. This battery here is a NiCad battery from the 90s and still works, but NiCad batteries are old technology now and are pretty much obsolete, so unless you happen to have one like I do, or even have an old NiCad charger kicking around like this one, you wouldn't be able to use them anyway. But no matter what your skill level, this battery was the standard back then and was considered pretty safe. You still wanted to make sure you charged them properly and not let them overheat, but as a whole, they were easy to use for everyone. The only other thing I would say about these batteries is that I would never leave one completely unattended while charging. In fact, most of these batteries and the chargers themselves would say the same thing. Don't leave them unattended while charging. But even at times when I did leave a battery to charge while I went to do something else, I never felt that I was in danger. You never had to worry about charging your AA batteries, and I think for most of us kids back in the day, these 7.2 volt NiCad packs were treated like big AA's. Point is, I never had a problem with any of my batteries back in the day, but they did get hot while charging, so I tried to never leave mine completely unattended. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Now, as we move out of the 80s and into the early 90s, a new battery technology starts to show up. By the mid-90s, this battery technology begins to replace the NiCad packs in the RC world as they allow for a higher storage capacity. And by the late 90s, this battery, nickel metal hydride, becomes the dominant battery type in the RC world. But the higher storage capacity of the nickel metal hydride battery wasn't the only benefit. They have another major distinctive functional difference over NiCad batteries. They don't have a memory. So with these batteries, you can fully charge them, partially charge them, or charge them at any point. Maybe you only used your RC for 5 minutes and you're going to need to charge it again. Go ahead. There's absolutely no reason not to. There are no memory issues. A nickel metal hydride battery is literally a plug-and-play scenario. There are no complicated charging procedures, and they are readily available and affordable. Now, other benefits to a nickel metal hydride battery are they're compatible with most entry-level and mid-range RC cars. They provide good run times. They deliver steady voltage output for casual driving and light racing. And they are great for brush motors. Another great thing is that these batteries also come in many different sizes. Now my 2000 milliamp hour pack will give me almost 20 to 30 minutes of drive time when fully charged with my stock Grasshopper, as it only has a stock speed of 12 miles per hour. But there are 3500 and 5000 milliamp hour packs too, for example, so this Grasshopper could run even longer if I wanted it to. I run all my kits with nickel metal hydride batteries. I get good run times, can still get some decent speed out of them through gearing and motor choices, and again, they're pretty safe packs and are pretty much considered the standard in general use battery packs today. In fact, with motor, pinion, and tire changes, this same 2000 milliamp battery pack got my Grasshopper to go 27 miles per hour, which you can see here. Point is, you don't need to do much in the way of maintaining their performance, and whether they are charged or discharged, there are no special handling or care instructions. In fact, you can store a nickel metal hydride battery at any charge level, so there are no special instructions for how to care for the battery. They are the safest battery technology to date for most RC users. So if this battery is for you, or if you're buying a kit for your son or daughter, 14 is the recommended age for any Tamiya kit, for example, you can feel pretty confident that you've bought a worry-free battery that will provide years of worry-free fun. Now, having said all that, I would still say the same thing as I said with charging my NiCad batteries. These will still get hot or warm during charging, depending on the ambient temperature and where you're charging them, so I would never leave them unattended. So again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. But having said that, I sometimes don't follow my own rules and might step out for 5 or 10 minutes while I'm charging this. Now, I still feel that as a whole, these batteries are pretty safe when left on charge on their own, so I'm not necessarily worried about it. Now, there are some downsides to nickel metal hydride batteries, as there are limits to what they are capable of. If you want to go faster than, say, 31 miles per hour, for example, you can check out my speedrun challenge video here or down there using a Tamiya FM01X four-wheel drive car, then you're going to need something with a bit more kick, meaning LiPo, which we'll get to in a moment. The point is, nickel metal hydride packs have a lower power output, which simply means the power can't leave the battery fast enough to make your car go faster. It's all there stored in the battery, but it just can't leave the battery fast enough to make your car go faster. So under high load, racing for example, you may notice a voltage sag, meaning the car slows down or feels sluggish under acceleration. Other key downsides are they're heavier. They're slow to charge, discharge over time on their own, and have a shorter lifespan under heavy use, but ultimately, nickel metal hydride batteries strike a balance between performance, safety, and ease of use, making them a perfect choice for beginner to intermediate RC users, especially those building Tamiya kits or those just enjoying the hobby without needing race-level power. So ultimately, if all of the downsides to a nickel metal hydride battery are enough for you to say, I still want more power, then there's really only one other way to go. It's time to go LiPo, which stands for lithium polymer. LiPo batteries have been widely adopted by the RC world for numerous reasons. 1. They have a high energy density, which means they can store a lot of energy relative to their weight or size. 2. They are lightweight. Nickel metal hydride batteries are much heavier. 3. Powerful discharge rates. In layman's terms, it means that all the power stored in this battery can be delivered to the wheels of your RC at a super fast rate, whereas the power in a nickel metal hydride is much slower to leave the battery. So ultimately, your RC can go much faster with a LiPo battery. 4. Improved performance. It's because of LiPo batteries that nitro, gas-powered kits, haven't taken off the same, as LiPo-powered kits often surpass the performance of gas. So in summary, the RC world has embraced LiPo despite the potential dangers because the benefits outweigh the risks. Wait, what? What risks? You never said anything about risks. And there's the rub. There are definitely risks involved with using LiPo batteries, and whether you're a beginner or a seasoned RC professional, LiPo batteries have a personality of their own, and they don't care what your skill level is. If you don't take proper care of a LiPo battery, they won't take care of you. It's as simple as that. Without proper care and attention, LiPo batteries can potentially cost you a lot more than just the price of a new battery. LiPo batteries are the top choice for performance-focused RC hobbyists, but they come with both powerful benefits and serious responsibilities. LiPos are high-capacity batteries that can store an incredible amount of energy. As such, these batteries require more care and attention when using them. If you're a parent who's buying a kit for your son or daughter, 14 or older, then you also need to understand LiPo, because ultimately you need to understand what you're bringing into your home. To be clear, These are not worry-free batteries, and without proper care and attention, they could become a fire hazard or worse. Now, to understand the differences between nickel metal hydride and LiPo, let me explain it by giving you a mental picture of what's going on with the batteries. Also, because I don't own a LiPo battery and have no plans to ever own one, this cutting-edge replica will be handling LiPo duties for today's video. When you charge a nickel metal hydride battery to full capacity, the energy inside that battery is stored. And when you connect your car to the battery, the car draws the power it needs out of the battery depending on how fast you want to go. Think of the battery like a self-storage facility. You can put stuff in the box, come back and fill it with more, empty it, refill it, etc. The box is always there and available to use as you need it. When you walk away from it, you don't need to worry about it. Whenever you return to put more stuff in it or take more stuff out of it, it will always be there to use as you need to, worry-free. The battery is the same way. You can charge it, recharge it, use it, etc. The energy is always there when you need it as long as the battery has some charge in it. You can draw as much or as little power from it as you want, and remember, there's no memory. So you can charge and decharge the battery whenever you need to and at any point. LiPos, on the other hand, operate completely differently. Think of a LiPo battery like a high-performance sports car parked in your garage. When you fill it with gas, charge it, it's ready to go fast. And when you hit the throttle, it gives you instant power and acceleration. This thing is built for speed and performance, not for sitting around doing errands like a family sedan. But here's the catch. That sports car, it needs special care. You can't leave it unattended. You shouldn't drive it hard without warming it up or cooling it down. And you definitely don't want to leave it in the garage with a full tank of gas for months. That could cause problems. Same with a LiPo battery. It's powerful, fast, and delivers strong bursts of energy right when you need it, which is why racers and hobbyists love it. But you have to take care of it. That means not overcharging it, not draining it too low, and storing it at the right level, what's called a storage charge. If you ignore these rules, things can go wrong, and sometimes very wrong. So in short, a LiPo is like a race-ready machine. Tons of power, quick on the draw, but it comes with responsibilities. Treat it right, and it'll take your RC game to the next level. Treat it wrong, and you might burn more than just rubber. Now, on the subject of storing a LiPo battery, it's not quite as simple as a nickel metal hydride. For nickel metal hydride batteries, you can leave them fully charged, half charged, dead, etc. for the most part, and when you want to use them again, you just have to plug them in or charge them up again if need be. But LiPo batteries are very different. With LiPo batteries, after you've run your car, you can't just put the dead battery on the shelf and forget about it. LiPo batteries need to be stored in a cool and dry place away from direct sunlight and extreme temperatures, usually between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius or 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. They need to be stored in a fire-resistant container or LiPo bag in case a fire starts. Of course, there's the storage voltage. A LiPo battery needs to be at about 3.8 volts per cell during storage, and most LiPo battery chargers have a storage mode that will automatically charge or discharge the battery to this voltage. If you don't do this, they can become a fire hazard. Now, typically, you would store them at 40 to 60% of their capacity, and you need to make regular checks for puffing, leaking, or unusual smells. The point is, a LiPo battery is a lot of responsibility. And unless you are meticulous about making sure your batteries are in perfect condition, going LiPo might not be for you. Yes, they will make your car go faster. Yes, they will give you longer run times. Yes, they will charge faster than nickel metal hydride batteries. But ask yourself this question: is the juice worth the squeeze? Let me give you a hypothetical real-world example that will never exist. Ever thought about what battery is used in a real electric car that is on our roads today? Most of the cars on the road today use lithium-ion batteries. So I went down a rabbit hole to find out why real cars don't use LiPo, and it didn't take me long to realize that it's for the same reason I'm saying I won't use LiPo in my kits. No car company is going to mass produce an electric car that requires a battery that needs to have special attention by the customer to keep the battery performing correctly. Almost all the information found talks about the risks of fire and environment, as LiPo batteries don't do well with temperature shifts. So real cars use lithium-ion as it's a more stable platform that runs very little risk of fires and is relatively maintenance-free. Can you imagine going to a dealership and buying an electric car to do a road trip across the country with your family, and just after you've signed the deal, the sales guy says to you, "Well, thank you, Fast Freddy, for purchasing your new electric car. I think the trip you're going on is amazing. But I do have a few battery disclaimers that legally I do have to read you before you go. So let's start here. So 1, you'll need to meticulously watch the discharge rate of your battery or it might explode. 2, you'll also need to make sure you don't charge the battery past 80% capacity, as it might also explode. 3, you'll need to check now and again to see if the battery isn't punctured or physically damaged, as the battery could also explode. And the last one here, be careful if you're going to drive it in hot places or the battery might catch fire and explode. But that's about it. Here are the keys. Enjoy your trip. Seriously? I doubt you would ever buy the car in the first place, and the car manufacturer certainly wouldn't put themselves in a liability situation by building a car that requires user maintenance in case their customer does something wrong. But that's what you're dealing with in the real world of LiPo batteries and RC. Even the most experienced RC user has run into troubles with using LiPo batteries. But you don't need to take my word for it. Look up LiPo battery fire on YouTube and you'll find many real-world examples of the dangers of LiPo batteries. People have lost all they have, including their homes, due to a LiPo battery fire. Oh, and remember when I mentioned earlier that hobby-grade RCs are designed for kids 14 and older? Well, get this. There are no legal age restrictions in most countries for buying or using LiPo batteries. Let that sink in for a moment. There are no restrictions, and yet the outcome of improper care of a LiPo battery can be catastrophic. So for you parents out there, you might want to be more involved with your kids' hobbies, just saying. So as we've gone over all the inherent dangers of LiPo batteries, ask yourself these questions. Are you committed to your RC hobby enough to do all that's necessary each and every day to make sure that you don't have any issues with your LiPo batteries? Or for you parents out there who have kids interested in RC, do you know what batteries are being used? Do your kids know how to take care of a LiPo battery? Are you helping them with maintaining that battery? Do you have a special place in your home to make sure if a LiPo battery goes wrong, it won't create a fire in your home? Better yet, do you have a place to charge or store a LiPo battery that isn't in your home? Do you trust your kids enough to do everything necessary to keep those batteries in tip-top condition? And I suppose at the very absolute least, do you have a LiPo bag? If you can't say yes to any of these questions, you may want to rethink purchasing an RC that needs a LiPo battery to run it. I know not everyone will agree with me on this, but for me, it really comes down to a simple question. Is having an RC car worth risking burning down your home? It's all risk versus reward. With proper care, a LiPo battery can give you years of solid, worry-free performance. But it's never guaranteed. LiPo batteries are known for being a bit unpredictable. Even when you do everything right, things can still go wrong. Even seasoned RC enthusiasts who have done everything right with their LiPo batteries have said to me, it's not a matter of if something bad will happen, it's a matter of when. So in other words, there's no guarantee of safety with a LiPo battery, even if you're doing everything right. So if you're a beginner or casual RC user, you've got to ask yourself, is it really worth using a battery that requires so much maintenance and attention just to go out and do a little backyard running with your friends? Personally, I don't want to be constantly worried about battery safety. I'm happy to follow common sense precautions like charging at the correct amperage and never leaving a battery unattended while charging, even though I sometimes do. But beyond that, I'm out. As I've said before, I'm no newbie to RC. I've been into this hobby for years and I love it, but I just don't have the risk tolerance or the patience to bring a battery into my home that demands constant, meticulous care just to avoid the risk of it catching fire. Or worse. So here's my final thought. Before you pick your battery or choose your RC kit, take a moment to really think about how you plan to use your RC car. Are you a backyard basher just out to have fun with your friends? Or are you chasing performance and speed on the track? That answer alone might help steer you towards the battery that fits you best. But here's the thing. If you go with LiPo, you're not just choosing power, you're also taking on a serious level of responsibility. These batteries require strict charging, handling, and storage practices, and if those are ignored, the consequences can be dangerous. And if you're a parent watching this, or your kid just brought home their first RC car with a LiPo pack, you yourself need to know what you're dealing with. This isn't a toy battery. If mishandled, it can be a real hazard. So before it ends up charging on the kitchen counter unattended, make sure you understand the safety side of it too. But at the end of the day, pick the battery that matches your comfort level and your lifestyle. There's no shame in keeping it simple and safe. This hobby is supposed to be fun, and keeping it safe makes it a whole lot more enjoyable. For me, I'm very happy with using nickel metal hydride batteries because I can still get 30+ miles an hour out of the cars just by tweaking the battery size, the gearing, or the motors of any given kit. For example, here's again a video of my 4-wheel drive MF-01X kit doing 31 miles an hour for the Poor Boys RC Speedrun Challenge. I changed the gears, the motor, and I'm only using this 2000 milliamp pack, yet I've still cracked the 30 mile an hour mark. It's plenty fast even at that speed, but I'm almost certain I can get more speed out of it with a few more tweaks. But here's the thing, how fast do you want to go? 30 miles an hour isn't slow for an RC car. Even at that speed, they're pretty tough to drive, and any faster you don't even get to see what you're driving. So unless you have a real reason that you want your kit to go like a bat out of hell, how much power do you really want or need? Have you ever worked out the scale speed of a 1/10 scale car doing 30 miles an hour? It's fast. For the driver of a 1/10 scale RC car, it would feel like 94 miles an hour. How do I know this? I've done the math, and it's a pretty fun calculation to do. So unless a new battery technology comes out that has the safety of a nickel metal hydride paired with the power of a LiPo, I'm sticking with nickel metal hydride so that I can keep my kits, myself, and my family safe. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful, and hopefully you now understand the different battery types and what is possible with each. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you in another video.